we are going to cover on the project costing, okay,
Okay.
which will contain the transaction source, TPR, other things. Under this, okay, to start with the managed transaction sources. Mainly, the transaction sources means from where, like which are all the modules or systems we are going to get the cost transactions. It could be maybe within the internal, in the sense you might have a, let's say, OTL, Oracle Time and Labor, right, which will get labor, and then you can have a supplier cost from AP. AP. Then you also will have a I expenses. With this one, it will come I expenses. It will go to AP. Then it will come to projects. Okay, PPM. Then you will have sometimes inventory cost per inventory cost. And you will also have a miscellaneous cost, which directly you enter in PPM. Then you will have a PO, procurement. Okay, these are all the normal sources, right? When you go to manage transaction sources, you will find the seeded one. Okay, seeded in the sense all this whichever is used within the Oracle system, that you could find it. But what you need to make sure, right? Within the is something you want to modify on the existing transaction sources, or you want to create something new, then you need to have those transaction sources to be defined. Okay, let's say transaction source. Then here you can search with not here, it will be under project costing. Okay, here manage project transaction sources. Okay, here let's see if I go with the seeded one. You see, these are all the seeded. Fusion payables, Fusion purchasing, Fusion cost management, Fusion OTL, Fusion projects, which directly enter in within the projects, Fusion payroll. These are all the seeded integrations or seeded models. If let's say you're using payables, you're using purchasing, you're using cost management, right? This will come from the respective sources. Okay. Under this, let's say you have a Fusion OTL. If you want to add something new, like this is a document and document source. For this, you can edit if you require something need to be. Okay. Let's say the time card is there. You want to allow duplicate reference or import raw cost amount. Okay. These changes you could do. Okay. If you want to these changes, and if you want to do as a new transaction source, then you have to define something new. Here, right, you see allow adjustment, process, cross-search, transaction, all of them, it's given. This is similar way for payables. Okay, the payables also they given a lot of documents, right? Expense report, intercompany invoice, all of them it will given. You may use it, you may not use it, but procurement you will have a purchase order and purchase requisition. Similar way we have a cost management, like when you are doing your supply chain related things, right? A manufacturing, and you could find all this cost management related transactions which is coming to projects. Then some of them you have directly you enter into project, that is called projects transaction. It may be miscellaneous, it may be burden. This is directly enter into projects module. Similar way, payroll. Typically, this you don't need to define. If you are using OTL, that is the standard integration will be there. The only thing is if any options you want to modify under this, either document level or document entry level, you can do that. Let's say allow reversal you want to enable, allow modification on process transaction. These things based on your requirement you can enable. When it's come to defining a new, then the CSP projects, I'm just creating GP CSP project as a transaction source. Then DFF, don't worry. Okay, under this is called transaction source. There are three parts: transaction source, document, and document entry. Now, once you define a transaction source, you need to define a document. Let's say I'm defining one transaction source for conversion. Okay, labor conversion. Let me modify this only as just like conversion. And I will define a document. This one, labor conversion, you can give the folder state. Then you want to, are you doing any commitment source? No, we are doing whenever we are doing conversion, you may do all historical cost, right? Let's say you do import allow raw cost, then import burden cost. See, if you have a burden cost only, you can enable it. Otherwise, you just import raw cost, that will come as a total cost. Then allow override person organization. Yes. Require expenditure batch approval. No. Allow transactions for inactive or suspended employees. Okay. This feature, right? What is used to happen in EBS world or any previously, if any person left the organization without completing his transactions or time card, whatever, right? Then we need to bill or you need to get it booked against the project and bill it to customer, right? Normally, if the person left right at the last working day, after next day, your employment record, everything will be get inactivated, right? Now that time, even if you try to enter, it will say person is inactive. To avoid that cases, right, they given this kind of option: allow transaction for inactive or suspended person assignments. Okay, so at that time, what we used to do, we make it employee event active for certain time, temporary purpose. Then we used to import the cost. Then again we put it back to employment status is inactive, so that we will process that cost and bill it to the customer or whichever project we want to book it. Here, this option is there. We can use it. Then accounting, create raw cost general accounting. See, whenever you say accounting in source, let's say whenever you're getting a cost from conversion, you may get it from the legacy system, which is already accounted or not accounted. Let's say if it's already accounted, then you need to choose that accounting raw cost. Okay, because you choose here raw cost, right? Then if you choose this one, it will show what raw cost. Then it will allow, okay, what adjust you want to create accounting entry or not. If not, you are not doing accounting in the source, then you have to click no. Then create a cost accounting entries in Oracle. Okay, these are all the options. Let's say you want to allow the duplicate reference, you want to any references column for transaction, it will be coming as a duplicate. You still you want to import, yes, that also can enable it. Any questions? This is how you can define the multiple documents. I'm going to define two. one for labor, one for non-labor as part of data conversion. This is for labor document entry. Now document, once we have a document, right, we need to have a document entry. We'll give the same labor conversion, allow adjustments, allow reversal, allow modification, event class, okay, event type, is it a labor or non-labor, straight time, overtime, right? Or let's say this is a straight time. Okay, then save it. Similar way, you could also have, let's say here, okay, why I'm selecting only straight time, I will not have a labor time, overtime, straight time separately in conversion. I just load it everything as a straight time. In reality, if you want both, then you have to create another document entry which says regular time and overtime kind of thing. Okay, this is a one set. Then I'm going to create another document non-labor. Okay, non-labor, import raw cost. This one I'm selecting these two. Then creating general entries, save it, and for same we need to have a document entry. Allow adjustments, allow reversal, modification. This will be non-labor. I can say miscellaneous. Where is that miscellaneous? Yeah, miscellaneous transactions. Save it. Third, can define a transaction source, document, and the document entry. Transaction source, documents. It could be either single or multiple based on requirement. Okay, here what we have defined. Okay, here we define one transaction source, then two document entries, documents, and each document will have one entry. Labor is one, then another one is a non-labor. Okay, then document entries. Document entries with required options. Required options in the sense whatever enable boxes, right, which we did, allow duplicate reference, counting, all of them, that you need to add it. Like this, you can have a multiple documents and multiple document entries, multiple transaction source. But any transaction source, you need to have a at least one document and one document entry minimum is required to use it. Okay, now here whenever we go to here, right, these options you need to choose based on your requirement. That time you could able to process non-labor as a miscellaneous cost as part of conversion, Labor you can process as a strike time as classified. Okay. Similar way, you might have a different uh, data elements, right? Let's say you are getting a supplier cost from Oracle. You might also get a supplier cost from other systems, right? That time you can also define, let's say, GSPP supplier cost, right? Let's say you are going to define non-labor, like integration related, okay? Supplier cost. Here, okay. Now, this one, okay, let's say the system is some third party, okay? Supplier cost, let's say Coupa, okay? Supplier, Coupa supplier cost. There is a transaction source, okay? Then you can make it, whenever you're defining it, make sure you don't have extra spaces, okay? Because that will might cause the issue. Then you copy and okay, then save it. This is let's say this is non-conversion one. I'm defining. Then we'll say Coupa supplier cost is the document entry. Document. Then you can make it as this one. I can say allow duplicate reference, accounting. Okay. Then save it. Then I'm going to define one document entry. You can use the same name as a document entry, or you can make it a difference also. It's up to you. Then, okay, this will be going to be, let's say, supplier cost. Like this, I can make them. You can't invoice to, okay, you can't change the expenditure type class to before you can set expenditure class to supplier. You must enable the import raw cost. Okay, it is saying what it's saying, at this level, import raw cost, then have been done. Let's make it as a miscellaneous. Let's see how. Okay, you can save it. Like this, you can define multiple things. Any questions on this? Other sources. For this, you can define a source name, document, document. Yeah. You can make it this as a source name. Then we'll have a document here. This is my document and document. This normally if you are having any other sources requirement apart from standard sources. This is for this and this is for data conversion. First one for data conversion. Okay, like this we need to. Okay, then next one, transfer price rules. This transfer price rules mainly we use whenever you have a cross charge or intercompany. For this, you need to have these rules to be defined wherever is applicable. Click on that. Now you have a manage transfer price rules. These rules for you need to define whenever you are doing a transfer price between within the organization for cross charging and all or outside, and how you are going to calculate your labor and non-labor. That's what it is. You can have a two different types for a transfer price, one for labor, one for non-labor. You can define accordingly. CSP, TP,
Is this for the intercompany purpose we use?
Yeah, intercompany purpose. Even for cross charging also you need to have.
Cross charging.
Okay. Yeah, any cross charge means outside of legal entities or within the legal entity, right? It will be.
Okay.
You need to give this type. What is the transfer price rule, and what will be the basis is the raw cost or burden cost. Okay, or calculated method basis only. Basis in the sense based on the cost amount you are going to calculate, or you are going to apply some rate schedule. Okay, or you are going to apply some burden. This will be different. Let's say you have a labor, you are going to apply some bill rate to calculate your classic calculation method, or you are going to use your raw cost as a base, then apply the markup, right? Let's you use something else. Depends. Here, whenever let's say I'm going with a cost, then I will make it 130% here. Means if my cost is 100, I'm going to apply my transfer price as a 130. The 30 is my internal margin, whatever we call it. Otherwise, you can go with a rate schedule where the every person who is going to charge across that, right? You should have a rate schedule defined. Okay, that way. Or you can go with a burden schedule. Maybe wherever you have a burden cost, need to be based on the burden cost you need to calculate and all, you can. But best way, either you can use the raw cost basis by applying a markup, or you can use the rate schedule also to directly you calculate your total cost for transfer price. Here I'm using for raw cost, that is the basis, how much? 130 is the percentage. Similar way, this is for labor. I'm going to define another one, non-labor. TP, transfer price non-labor. This is for non-labor. Okay, this one also I will just say based on raw cost basis, and non-labor I'm going to go with at cost. Or you can also apply, let's say this will be 110%. Now I can have it two different second, just have two different things, right? GCSP labor, then GCSP non-labor. One for labor type, one for non-labor type. Labor will 130%, then non-labor will go to 100 and this one 110% also. Okay.
Can you please repeat this? I just missed it.
Which one?
The
Here,
like
you could have two different rules. One for type labor, all right?
okay.
One for non-labor.
Okay.
Okay. With the whatever multiplier or markup or rate schedule you are going to apply, you need to mention here. Let's say a TP rule, one for labor, one for non-labor. Then that base, whether you are going to use transfer price or not, or else then you have to use this whatever rate or basis. I use it in this example based on for labor, based on my raw cost, I am going to apply. Let's say raw cost is 100. I'm going to bill a discount or percentage, right? 30 percentage markup for labor. For non-labor, I'm going to apply 10% markup. The total is 130, 110 based on the cost. Once you define these rules, right, you need to have a schedules, TP schedules.
Okay, got it.
Then DCSP TP schedule. Here you can assign those rules to define its schedules. First line you will define this one and then save it. I will filter out this. Okay, this is a transfer price schedule name. Under schedule you need to associate the lines. Okay, line number 1, who is the provider organization? We said, okay, you want to use this rule, right? Then who is the provider? Let's see. GC. Okay, let's say GCSP consulting, right? Then receiver, GCSP finance. Okay, it's not necessary you should go with a different entity. Okay, within that also different organization. This is a consulting department, this is a finance. Okay, if anybody working from consulting to finance, okay, I need to apply. This is for labor role, TP labor. Okay, then non-labor, here you see this is the labor. I'm going to apply, right, 130. Non-labor, same GCSP, then TP non-labor 110. Okay, effect is it a cost transfer or revenue transfer? No, this is a cost transfer. I calculate total cost and transfer it. See here, right, whatever you mention here, you can just take it from there and update it here. Then it is going to be this percentage. Let's say same thing to, okay, CSP from consulting to products. See, mainly there also you should have a projects and all of them. Okay, that time you can directly give 120%, 100% as a cost transfer. This also will work. Okay, you see here at least one labor, one non-labor we need to give. That's why system is asking. Okay, let me create. You either create labor or non-labor. Okay, this will be non-labor. Okay, this will be labor. Let's say this will be CSP. Okay, here this is a rule, but I'm going to apply consulting to product 120% for labor. For GCSP, let's say non-labor, right, 100%. Like this, you can add as many relations you want within this particular schedule. You can also have another combination like this as well. Okay, US1 legal entity or US1 business unit 2, right? Then US 2 business unit. Let's say between these two business units, and labor should be 140%, non-labor. See, when you are writing here, right, that will be supersede. Okay, if you don't give anything here, then it will be taken from the transfer price rule. You may ask, okay, why we are giving here, right? Because this is a rule I'm assigning, but this is a percentage should take it. If I don't give a percentage here, right, then it will take it from the rule, whatever given by 130, 110. Here I'm making difference. I have a rule, fine, but the rule percentage is this, right? I don't want to apply everything same, but I'm going to use the rule name, but the percentages I can override here. Okay, you can make it one of them as a default or not. Okay, so that will be applied, or you can just leave it blank. You can save it within the organization. How many provider or receiver you have? First you need to identify that. Okay, this provider and this receiver and labor is markup of 30%. Okay, this provider and this receiver my non-labor is this much percentage. First you need to have a the maintenance relations, then you can approximately you can add it accordingly. Let's say here you we got right provider and receiver. First thing you will have a rate of transfer price rules and schedule like this. You need to have it. Let's say whatever combination you need to associate it. Let's say this is a rule and the transfer price and the percentage. Like this, we need to add into the system transfer price rules and transfer price schedules. Any questions?
No, sure.
Yeah. But this one, the relationship, whatever we need to do, right? First, we need to bring all of them into one Excel. Okay. Then you start building up. Okay, this is all I need to do. Then you need to bring it up. Okay.
Okay.
Next one, capitalized interest rates. This will be applicable whenever you have a capital projects and where you are applying for some interest to them. Then this particular functionality or feature you can define it. Can manage capitalized interest. It will be under the same umbrella. Okay, you can search it here. Select all. Okay, manage capitalized. Second, interest rate. Second. Just whenever sometimes you may not get that search option and based on the browser what they're using. Yeah. Capital projects. Okay, let me search into enterprise. Okay, see whenever you don't get a particular
Yeah, I
view,
know that when we
this
don't do this
yeah,
global search.
yeah. How define the capitalized interest? Okay, manage okay. Manage capitalized interest rate. Manage capitalized interest rates. It's same only, but I'm not. Okay. Then we can go to this particular navigation. Here you can define a rates, interest rates. It's best way to capital interest rate. Then you can give the description. Okay, Okay, what will be the expenditure type you are going to use? Okay, here also one thing. Let's say you have this requirement, then you need to define a capitalized interest type, right? That time you can either you can use any existing one which you have already defined, or you need to define something new. Okay, let's say I'm using miscellaneous, or let's say you can go back and define the new expenditure type and make it capital interest. Okay, that also will work. Then interest rate. So this is a capitalized interest name, right? Then you need to have which business unit, US1 business unit, right? Expenditure, which expenditure, project owning organization or expenditure owning organization, task owning, project owning, or how you want to calculate interest. Is it budget value, open CIP, or total CIP? Total CIP. Then you can just give a this is a project amount, threshold amount. Okay, this all will fine. Okay, you can leave it blank. Means the number of days and all. This will be differ project to project. Then calculation method is a full off or none. Okay, project period. So just take it full. Method simple or compound one. Okay, it will say simple means the number of whatever amounts or days you have, it will calculate the interest. And basis method is a spread even in the sense by number of days. Spread even in the sense, let's say the equal number of months, or it will be distributed across the interest. Number of days in the sense based on the day wise it will be. And the expenditure type you need to choose. Okay, which one we are going to GCSP, where is that term is yes. Okay, expenditure category is this, right? Now you have a interest rate name and details which business unit and what will be the organization you are going to context, right? Then the amount, what type of, is it total CAP or different budget or open CIP? Budget in the sense based on the actual approved cost budget you are calculating interest, or open CIP in the sense whichever is not in the in progress cost, okay, capitalization interest progress, or total CAP in the total cost. Normally, so very rare case we used to say take the budget, but either they will take the total cost. Then you had a expenditure type. This is the interest rate. This one you need to have a name, interest rate details, and the expenditure types. Right here, create a name, then create what we assign. We create interest rate details, then and assign excluded expenditure type. Okay, excluded. Okay, sorry. This one, right? Which one we need to exclude from the capital interest rate? Let's say I want to calculate all the expenditure types for interest rate except, okay, for this one miscellaneous, or except let's say burden cost, right? Except some other, okay. This expenditure type, what will happen that time? Those, even though it is booked to a project, it won't calculate that. Okay, for that I am giving, let's say travel, I don't want to calculate, that is expenses. I don't want to calculate interest for that. Okay, so that you can add the excluded expenditure types also. Excluded, add excluded expenditure type which should not calculate interest. Like this you can. Once you have this, you can go and define a rate schedule, save it, save and close. No interest rate schedules. Then here, how you define a burden, right? Burden schedule, similar way. Then I am going to define the CSP capital. Okay, you can select the organization hierarchy. I'm selecting US one business unit, the topmost one. Okay, hierarchy. Okay, okay, this is my organization tree. Version, you will get it in the drop down. Version 1, 2, it will be whichever is the latest version you can take. If you have a multiple version, here I'm taking as version 1. Why this is not coming? Second, let it go back and add it again. Okay, then this one. Okay, what is the starting one? This is what my starting organization. Okay, then you can, this is a header, interest rate schedule header. Then you can going to add a scheduled rates version. This is the one, right? Here is the version. Then you have a rate multipliers. Let's say here GCSP consulting, right? This is my rates. Then I can take it. The rate will be 6%. Okay. Then I'm going to add another one. Save it. Where is that value I need to enter? Okay, from date. Okay, this is my from date. Then I will add whatever the organization GCSP finance. Then it will be the same interest rate. This will be a 5%, right? Then other one GCSP. Then consulting also added, right? Let's see. Anything is there. Let's see. When you can add, let's say you can add another one. Okay, another existing org also you can add it now. And you can make it 4%. Like this, you can add the rate of interest. Once you have created this, right, you need to save it. Okay, then you have to, let's say this is under currently under new status, it's not active or something. Whereas if you look for other one, it will be status is different, right? Now I need to run this process, build rate schedule. By that, when you run it, okay, it will status change to active. Let's say after 1 year or 6 months, this will be updated, right? You may get a new rates or something. What you want to do, keep this header and come to here, then version. Okay, then create a version, same thing. Okay, or here you can just either you can take this. Okay, earlier one you need to end dates. One second. Before coming to here, just end date it first 2020. Okay, let's say 2020. This is end date. Okay, now next one I need to do from second, right? From 2nd January I need to have something else, right? Then I can have here same version. Then I can copy multipliers. Let's say if I have a 10 different lines, right? I want to copy from there. I will get it here. What I will do, I will go and change 4.5%. This will be this is 6%. This is 6.5%. Okay. Now from this date to this date, whatever rates is there under this will applicable. And second one, when I create it, this will be applicable after I made it build burden schedule like this. This will be associated to the respective projects. Whenever you have a capital project with the interest rates, this need to be associated to the project level also. That I will show when we do project level testing.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Here you will have a rate schedules and define and schedule version. Under schedule, create rate schedule, create version, whichever version, okay, either like 1, 2, etc. Right? Then create a multiply, rate multipliers. Right? Based on organization. Okay. All this need to do on this. And then coming to allocations. Okay. Did you work anything on the allocation in the EBS world, or you heard anything about allocation before?
I heard about the allocation, but I don't know how it exactly works.
Allocations, okay. Mainly we use for any kind of distribution of common cost, in the sense, let's say you are paying for a office building rent, which contain 5 floors or 10 floors, where multiple projects are utilizing that space, right? But vendor is one. You have to pay the vendor rent on monthly basis or whatever agreement basis, right? Then you want to distribute that amount to across the projects as a maintenance cost, right? Then it may be running by 5 projects, 10 projects, but you need to bring them into a system to process it, okay, based on some certain rules. That we do it by allocation process. That allocation process, we have different methods of allocations, okay, where you can have a different types of allocation. You can set it up, or allocation rules. No, not this. Not this. It will become under. Here we have contracts, billing based. This one, which will fall under manage allocation rules. To define this also, we need to have a projects to be there in place, the data wise, okay. to define the allocation rules, but I have some example of what is called allocation content, okay, which I used to use to. I will bring that one allocation rules is there with me, where it will give the what type of allocations we have. It's a very good Excel which I used to use for some my this one POCs also. Okay, test allocation data. This one. Normally in allocations we have a four different methods. Okay, one, the allocation you need to have a spread even allocation method. What it does, it will equally distributed among the target projects. Let's say we are paying certain rent of 1 lakh, then we have a 10 different projects which is operated by that building, right? Then each project 10,000 will go. That's how you see here. There are the two allocation sources which they paid 3,50,000. Then you could see 70,000 each project has been distributed based on the allocation setup. To do this, you should have a projects to be defined. That's why I said we should have a projects to be defined. But whenever we use to spread even, that means equally distributed among the all target projects based on the source amount. That is called spread even. The second one, target percentage and spread even. What will happen here? The calculation, right? You have a source pool 3,50,000. Okay, allocation target line. The total spread even percentage must be always equal to 100. Okay, let's say this is if this is equal to 100. The allocation rule calculate the amount to allocate the target line, then specified the results each among the chargeable task. Let's say if this is going to be source is 100 based on the percentage, right? Based on the target percentage, let's say 10%, 20%, you can give the percentage. Okay, first project 20, second project 30, third project 20. That it will equally distribute based on the percentage based target percentage and spread evenly. Whatever percentage you given here in the system for the target, based on that they will consider this is equal to 100, out of that 20%, out of that 30%, out of that, like that it will distribute among all the projects as a allocation cost. This method we call it as target percentage and spread evenly. Based on the target, the percentage and the percentage given by, it will distribute accordingly all the source cost. And third one, we have pro rata basis. Pro rata in the sense you will have a source cost. Okay, it will be, but it will consider based on the amount. Okay, which will be pro rata in the sense you may have a total cost. You see here is the formula. Okay, target basis amount. This means this is amount, total basis amount, and the source pool amount is equal to allocation amount. Source pool means how you are going to let's say the target basis amount, let's say this much. Okay, total is 2 lakhs, right? Then total basis amount into 100 percentage, in the sense how much you have as a total cost and based on the percentage. Normally you get a cost to a project, right? How
Yes.
many? Based on that, it will allocate the percentage. Let's say here total 2 lakhs, right? Now here, if you look at right, it has been allocated as a 2 lakhs. How it has been allocated? Here, this project has 1,65,000. This much as a cost. This has a this much as a cost, right? Now overall, this equal to 100, right? Now, if this is equal to 100, what is the percentage of this particular project? This divided by this, right? Whatever total cost among the all target project and the selected project average. Then 14%. Then this one, how we do calculate here, right? This is a base amount which you got cost, and this is the total cost, whatever across the all target project. 14%, right? On this 14 percentage, you are going to allocate from 2 lakhs. That's how it will be. This 14 percentage, it will be allocated as a 2 lakhs amount. Now here, if I go here, then this is my cost, and this is here. System will get the percentage of the total. Then it will try to calculate whatever amount based on the percentage which you are going to entered on the actual cost divided by 100. This is 20. Now when I look at right, the allocation of the allocation amount 2 lakhs will distributed based on these percentages, target and percentage pro rata. Now here the base is the amount whichever is booked against that particular cost. First one equally across the projects. Second one equally with a percentage given by, and third one pro rata basis. You just give a you have a total allocation cost, but you will have a cost which is entered against that allocation projects, right? So target projects based on the cost entered by, then you will get the percentage and do the calculation. And the last one, pro rata percentage, target and pro rata percentage. Target and pro rata means you have a total source, okay, but the only thing is you are going to get allocation basis, okay. Now let's say this one, and it will distribute across based on the allocation amount. Let's say target allocation, this will be a 5 lakhs. You got the target amount, total amount 1111 lakh, 5 lakhs. On that 5 lakhs, what will be this percentage, or this, or okay, 10%, 20%, something like that. It is going to be calculated. For this also we'll have a formula. Target allocated amount divided by total budget, okay, total line basis amount multiplied with the pool in the sense this is the pool amount, and target line percentage. What is the line percentage? Means based on this line amount and based on this you are going to calculate pool amount like that. You see, it will be whenever we go with any business discussion, this allocation will be kind of tricky topic. But the thing is, if they have something they are spending from common bucket and they want to distribute that to across the all the projects which is really using that particular office space or facility or admin, whatever, right? Oracle has given these four as a methods, okay. Based on our requirement, you can choose whichever is applicable and try to put a one POC, then present it back to them how it's look like. Then you need to choose one of them, okay. For
Okay.
this one also I will share to you, or should I need to put it to the folder? One second, I will download and put it to the folder. I'm not able to get download this. Then I put it into here. Okay, have been allocated, and you will get that access. But this one, you can just go through it, and but you will get some questions in that questionnaire also related to allocations.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you will get this access to this.
Sure.
Then let me go through where is my index. Okay, this allocation rules. Once you have a projects in the system, you could see that. Okay, but typically those are all the methods we have to follow that and try to understand and apply that in the respective rule which you need to be. Okay, we'll stop it here. Next session by using all this configuration, right? We are going to set up project type and project numbering and templates because this
Um,
is look like three, but it will require all these setups to be there in place before we do this.
yes, Ashok. Ashok, what about the accounting rule, Ashok?
Accounting rule I will explain with some scenarios. Okay, with taking some examples. Okay, once we do with all the setups. Like normally we have a requirement sheet based on chart of accounts, right? I will
Yes.
explain, then you can look at your system how it is set it up for each nature of transaction.
Sure.
Okay, let's complete all
Okay.
the setups, then maybe at end we'll show that accounting, yeah, accounting
Okay.
configuration, how we can read in the system. Let's say
Yes.
that to to project different, but you need to
Yes.
know the algorithm or the method of how to understand the existing setup accounting, right?
Yes, that
That
is.
I can help you on that. I have some documents on that. Okay, how you can read it out. I can explain some scenarios, then you